which will be checked against the invoice. When I say the logical conditions for validating data, what is that? Now let's say a vendor number has been generated by OCR. Okay, now this vendor number, whether it exists in the system, in SAP system or not, that will be validated through business rules. And if any of the business rules fails, or any of the exception handling, we call it, fails, so it will be rerouted to a particular person. Now how does this happen? It will happen via creation of roles and all the configuration. Now once all the business rules are good and there is a green signal that this invoice is ready to post, so this will be posted in SAP, and a SAP document will be generated. Now if you see the below screen here, where Vim components and analytic reportings, archive server and content repository is written, these are the different components of Vim. Archive server is used to store the data, okay, and then Vim analytics and Vim reporting is something, it will give you the status of the invoice, whether when the invoice is created, when the metadata is extracting, when OCR is doing its work, when it is validating, at what stage the invoice is. That report will be given to you via analytics. Okay, and there are invoice approvals. So invoice go through the approvals, and then there are Fiori and approval portals to deal with the invoice. Since we are going with the newer and newer technologies, web-based technologies, so there is something called Fiori, which has been launched by SAP. So there are Fiori apps or Fiori tiles for Vim as well, okay, to approve the data, to approve the invoices, to validate the invoices. So you need not to log into the SAP this GUI nowadays. So you have Fiori to compensate SAP GUI. Okay, now let's talk about a process flow of Vim. Let me pause here again to have, if anyone have any questions, or are we on the same page, guys?
Nothing from my side.
Okay, Sandeep, from your side, are you in the meeting, or I see you offline? And Fanisa Begum. Okay, so you're understanding till now, or you don't have any questions? Okay, good. So we are on the same page. Now let's talk about the process flow. Okay, so if you see my diagram here, so this part, or this area is talking about the preparation and scanning, or I would say the different channels of Vim through which we can receive the invoice. These are e-invoicing, which is EDI channel or iDocs, the email channel, the manual PDFs you can also inject into the system. Okay, and then via email and or via iDoc, or this manual handling of invoices, you scan the invoice. Now if you see, all these arrows are now going to store invoice digitally. Now this part is called archiving of the invoice. There is something called archiving server. Now this archiving server is sold by SAP as well. SAP has its own archive server. Now even the OpenText give you the archive server, and then there are several companies in the market through which you can buy this archive server. Now, what is archive server? Archive server is nothing but storing of invoicing digitally is the work of archive server. Now, a few minutes back we talked about storing of manual, the paper invoices, correct? So this archive server eliminates the storing of manual invoices and taking care of those invoices for the 2 or 3 years as per the government rules. So you can store your invoice digitally in the archive server. Now, how this archive server is linked to SAP is via content repositories. If I go back to my previous PPT, so you will see here that archive server and content repository. So now, what is content repository? Okay, so this content repository is nothing but a ID which is creating a content repository. This is created in SAP. It's an SAP content repo ID, which will connect to the archive server via archive link. Okay, so let's take a repository in this way, that archive server is a building, okay, and then there are several floors, correct, to that building. Okay, now what content repository ID will do, that when it has to store a particular invoice, it will take that invoice, okay, and it will store it in a particular floor, so that when you have to fetch that invoice for further processing, it has not to go through all the building to find the invoice. You getting my point? So this archive server has, it's a server. So repository helps to store the invoice in a particular position, and also to connect with the archive server. Now there is the creation of content repository ID is ideally a business task. I'll show you in the SAP how it looks like. C0 is the T code for creation of this content repository. So if you see here, let's see this A1. So this is the content repository ID. You give the description. The document area will always be the archive link, because we are going to connect to the archive server. And then if it is a HTTP content server, you give the HTTP content server, the version number, the HTTP server port number, SLL port number, the script, and transfer directory, physical path. So these are the different parameters of content repository ID which Basis will create for you. And then you can also test the content repository ID whether the connection is good or not via this button. So ideally this is a business task, the Basis task to create content repository IDs, but you should have, as a functional consultant, you should have the idea what this content repository is going to do and how you can also create the content repository. Because if in case in your projects the Basis needs an overview or an idea what is the requirement of this content repository, then you should be able to do that. So that's the idea behind this. Okay, so this is content repository which is used to link to the archive server. Now if I go back to my screen here, so you see these are the different channels here. Now for email and the PDF or the paper invoice, it goes to store digitally, and then there comes a component called OCR. Now what is, again we talked about OCR. It's an optical character recognition technology. it's an technology, but it is inside the ICC or BCC. So these these servers, ICC or BCC, are installed on the Windows services. Okay, these are not in SAP. These are separate servers on which the capture, or the capture of data or metadata will happen. So these are individual, or okay. So where they are installed? They are installed on the Windows. Like here, they will have two applications here: BCC customizing and BCC validation. In customizing, you create application for different countries to to inject the invoices and to collect the metadata from OCR. Now, how do we establish connection between BCC and SAP, or ICC and SAP? Is via RFC user IDs. Okay, there is something called RFC user IDs, which will establish a connection between BCC or ICC and SAP. Now, when invoice is stored in archive server, so this will be fetched via BCC. That image will be fetched via BCC, so that it can collect, or the metadata from the invoice. Now, once it is done, it will send for validation. Now, where it will validate? We have a validation client for that. Okay, I'll show you the images of that. So once it is validated, and a person sitting in the accounts payable team will validate whether the data collected by OCR is correct or not. And if he clicks on the submit button, so a workflow will be generated inside SAP or in Vim, where now this part, exception handling or registration in Vim, this is now SAP GUI things. So it will get a register in Vim, and then several business rules will run. Okay, when I say several business rules or exception handling, these are again set of logical conditions or function modules written to validate the metadata. Now, why I'm using the term metadata, not data? Does anyone has clue what is metadata and how it is different from data? Begum. Now, coming back to exception handling. So based on the again several data which is coming from OCR, the system will try to fulfill the data, or fulfill the remaining part in what is required to post a document based on that data. And then the exception handling or business rules will run. So there will be several business rules. For example, missing invoice date. If the date is missing on the invoice, and if the reference number is missing, that's another business rule. If the vendor is not valid. When I say vendor is not valid, I mean the vendor ID, which is recognized by OCR, is does not exist in the system, or it's not existing for that particular company code, then it will raise that exception. And then invalid currency. Okay, document not balanced, which means there is a mismatch or a balancing error on the invoice document. So these are the exceptions or business rules which will run into SAP or Vim. And if anyone any of the business rule or exception fails, then it will be rerouted to a particular role in SAP, and from that role to a particular agent. Okay, now there are two kind of invoices. One is PO based invoices, and the second is non-PO based invoices or FI invoices. Now The PO based are, which purely follows the P2P cycle. For that, a PO is created, and then goods are received, and then we do the payments. Okay. And for the PO invoices, we the Vim also do the three-way match. Now what is three-way match? The line items which we ordered will be taken from PO. Now what is what we ordered, what we received, and what are we invoiced for. These are the three things, and these are matched against each other. Let's take an example of a PO and a material for which the quantity is 10 and the price is for per quantity it is 10, which means the PO is of 100 INR, let's say. So we receive the goods receipt, or goods are received for 5 quantity only. Okay, which means we ordered for 10 but we received for until now for 5, and we are again receiving the invoice for 10 quantity itself. Now if we do the three-way match here, we find that there is a goods are missing for 5. Now for this document, if the document is getting posted before that 5 extra remaining goods arrived into warehouse, or the goods receipt is generated, if we are posting the invoice before that, the invoice will get blocked, and this will be a quantity block. Okay, so that's a three-way match. That why there is a block. The block is because we ordered for 10 and we receive only 5 until now, so there will be no payment to vendor. Okay, now when you can resolve these blocks will generate a dashboard inside of Vim, and again these blocks will, or this document will be assigned to a particular role. Generally these are the PO creators. Who creates a PO will be assigned with this dashboards. Okay, so once they resolve this block, so this will be released for payment. Now this is a typical PO invoicing. And what is NPO? Now for NPO we do not have a PO, okay, PO number, or pure FI invoice do not have PO numbers. Now for this we generally have approvals, that it will go for a particular approval. Okay, now first of all a GL and some cost objects needs to be coded for that particular invoice. So this is generally the task of coder or the requesters. Okay, and then it will go for approval, and once it is approved by that particular owner of the cost object, it will released for the payment. Okay, so this is the overall process flow of Vim, from scanning until the posting of invoice. From the point you receive the invoice, you scan the invoice, you verify, you do the approval, and then you release it for payment. Now doing the payment part comes in finance module. It's until posting is the task of Vim. Okay, now when I was talking about the approval thing, so approval also happens for PO based invoices. So there is a provisions of having a design where you have approval for PO based invoices as well. Okay, so we can have approvals for both the invoices, POs and non-POs. So this is the overall workflow, or I would say the process flow, how the Vim works. Let me pause here and see if anyone has queries until now. Fanisa Begum and Subramanya, are we clear on until now? Are we on the same page?
Yes, clear.
Yeah, are you understanding what I'm trying to convey here?
Yes.
Okay.
I have big idea about the then I can.
Okay, so you can relate with the things.
Yes. Not Vim.
Okay. Okay. But the process, how a typical organization works, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a query from Vanessa. She is asking if I can brief a little about ICC. Okay, so Vanessa, this ICC is, it is Invoice Capture Center. Now it has two clients, or in layman term, let's say apps only. So like we have Firefox and SAP GUI. So these will be there on the Windows server itself, like in the desktop. Okay, so these two clients are installed via this ICC server. There are services which are running in the Windows services, like if you see here, we have services here. So there are some services of ICC server. These are generally called DokuStar services, DOKU. Let me write it down here for you. DokuStar services. Okay, so these are the three services which will run, like here you see there are several services running for the tasks which are going on the Windows. So similarly, these DokuStar services also run in these services when you install ICC or BCC.